Hi, namaste. My name is Caitlin, and I would like to share with you today information about Jupiter retrograde. And I also have done all 12 signs with horoscopes related to Jupiter retrograde. And Jupiter retrograde is going to go from November 11th to March 11th. So this is a full 4-month period. So as you hear these horoscopes, they're designed to help you along 4 months during that whole time that Jupiter is in retrograde. So I will be doing more of that towards the end of the program today. But I'd like to start off with just sharing who I am. I am a galactic astrology, quantum soul practitioner, soul guidance practitioner. It's a big long name. And I'm part of Julia Balaz's team and love working with Julia. She is a treasure. And if you haven't checked into her course, highly suggest you do. I'm also one half of the team with my granddaughter, who also is a practitioner with Julia's team, and Adriana. So you may know me from Heart to Heart Astrology. Adriana wasn't feeling up to it to do this, but we wanted to get the information out to you, and she encouraged me to do this solo today. So that's where I'm at. So hope you feel better real soon, Adriana. Okay. Um, my background a little bit, I've also been involved in just metaphysics in general my whole life. I had parents that were very metaphysically awake, which was very unusual. I'm in my 69th year, so in my time era, very unusual, and but very, very blessed and know it and appreciate it every moment. So thank you, Mom and Dad. And I know you're with me right now, helping me to do this on my own today. I love you both so much. All right, let's jump in. That's enough about me. And let's go right into just the retrogrades that are going on in general. I'm sure you're all feeling it. Plus, as I'm taping this on November 5th, the full moon, Taurus full moon, we are just had two major X flares. Um, and a 1.8, that's really the one that's going to affect us the most and should be arriving this weekend. So heads up on hydration, very, very important. Electrolytes, drinking plenty of water because it tends to cause dehydration symptoms. If you go online and just plug that into your Google, that it will come up with that information. So that's not woo-woo stuff, it's reality. Okay, so I have my water here. I'm all prepared to be sipping along. I didn't decided not to have tea today. So if I grab this every so often, my throat is a little bit dry. Anyway, so let's talk about Saturn because there is a retrograde with Saturn as well, the planet of structure, okay? And has been retrograding from July 13th, and it's going to of this year and will end on November 27th of 2025. What's interesting with this retrograde is it's flipping between two signs. So it's flipping between Aries, and that completed on August 31st of this year. But now we are in the retrograde with Pisces. But I did want to speak just a little bit about the retrograde in Aries because that we had this summer. And I want you to just think back to how you may have felt because when Saturn is in Aries, you may have had a little more courage to say no, maybe when necessary, but still yes when warranted. So Aries brings in a sense of more self-identity and leadership type roles. So if you felt stronger during that time, but have noticed a bit of a shift, that's because we've gone back into Pisces. So Saturn retrograde in Pisces will actually end on November 27th, just in time for Thanksgiving. So, but what's interesting is the one thing with the retrograde when it's, Saturn retrograde in Aries, it also can cause some impulsivity that normally wouldn't happen with Saturn energies. It's not an impulsive planet at all. It's a plot along kind of a planet. But when we're in that, you just have to watch out for that. But now that we're back into Pisces, you may feel like a little more inspirational because Pisces is the definitely the inspirational sign out of all 12. And but Aries is definitely the manifester. So going back and forth between these two is very interesting. So depending on how you did this summer, how you're doing now, I really sense that you could actually live your dream because that's what Pisces is about is finding out what your dream is, what your desire is, and if it's not actually living it yet, maybe over this next 4 months, because Saturn retrograde is going to contribute to the Jupiter retrograde. I'm going to talk about in a little while. This is sturdy steps moving towards it. So think of it that way. So I'd like to also talk about Mercury retrograde, which is starting on November 9th, right around the corner here. And it's going to go all the way to November 29th, 2025. So Thanksgiving weekend is looking very interesting. Every a lot of things are going to go direct. So be ready. Be ready for our family gatherings. But it should be good though, actually. I feel it's a good direct. And just think about how Mercury, it's a planet of mental awareness, ability for external communication. It also governs a lot to do with decision making. Well, while it's in retrograde, it's going to actually be in Sagittarius, which is the most, I think, the most uncomfortable place for Mercury to be, because Sagittarius is a little bit, not unlike, not as much as Aries, but there's some impulsivity and expressiveness through Sagittarius. If you have any Sagittarian friends, they're the most fun people in the room, the jolly laugh. Just follow that laugh and you'll find your Sagittarian friend. But it's also going to move into intensive Scorpio during that time. So these retrogrades have been shifting between two signs. So Scorpio is very different than Sagittarius. It's the opposite in many ways. It's very internal. And it will bring in realism and kind of may overshadow Sagittarian's idealism. So it's kind of like, well, where can we find the balance between these two as we go through Mercury retrograde? I always feel Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap. I feel it's a time for more inward spiritual time with meditation, going inside, being able to figure things out, working on projects, and just, attempting to maybe redo something. Maybe you started something and you never finished. Is it maybe time to go back? But don't start something new. That's for when things go direct. So that's just the best thing I've ever learned with Mercury retrograde. But when it does go direct, excuse me, I feel that the communication clears up maybe even better than before. So there's positives to it. Okay, Uranus, oh gosh, Uranus is in retrograde. And it's been in Gemini from July 7th, but it went retrograde September 6th in Gemini. But the whole retrograde experience is going to continue to February 4th, 2026. Now, interestingly enough, we are taking a step back. So we're going back out of Gemini, air, flowing, communication, expression, movement, and we're going back into Taurus, groundedness, security, sometimes stubbornness, beautifiers though, beautiful beautifiers. So it's, I feel for you, Taurus, because you've had it in your sign since 2018. And boy, I'm sure having it move into Gemini was a nice little vacation. But it's stepping back on November 7th. So be aware and be ready for all of us. It just affects all of us, but especially Taurus, for you especially. And I talk a little bit about that into the horoscope. But you crave routine, you crave security, you're loved trust, you want to trust others, but you're trustworthy and very loyal. So it's important to check in with what you really truly value. That's super important because this return to Uranus, which is the innovator, movement, freedom, liberator kind of a planet, very, very opposite of a more stable, secure, grounded, bull, Taurus the bull. So you may feel like you're going to be pulled off of your safe perch, maybe financially, materially on some level, or even spiritually. So be clear about what matters to you, what you truly value, and stay aligned to your truth. What is your true truth? Um, and Also, but honoring that the fact that Uranus is saying, "Hey, it's you have an opportunity to have some freedom here." So where's the balance? How can I bring this into my life and make it better? Okay. And again, speaking to all, but a little bit more, Tarans, have your listening ears on for that. Okay. So yet another retrograde, Neptune, my goodness, since July 4th, 2025 till December 10th, 2025. Another interplay between Aries and Pisces. Oh my God, you guys. Oh, hang in there. We're almost through it. Um, what's interesting again is that this retrograde started in Aries. And again, we've got that impulsivity versus Pisces tendency towards inspiration. So, how do you blend these two? The fiery Aries and the watery Pisces without Pisces putting the fire out. I mean, let's face it, they're complete opposites. Well, here's where Uranus, going back into Taurus, earthy Taurus, more grounded, may help balance these two energies, okay, with this dip back into the water. So with Pisces, I feel like it's going to help with this timing of how things is going to go. And so we will find out when that comes direct again on December 10th. Very interesting time in this play out between November with all this going on and solar flares, the what do they call this thing? AI Atlas, something like that, 3-eye Atlas. Okay, that type of stuff going on. We've got a lot of things going on. But let's just jump into my main topic here, which is Jupiter retrograde, which is my favorite retrograde. If you could ever have a retrograde that's favorite, how about having it in the beneficent Jupiter? Which sometimes is way too big for its britches anyway. So maybe it comes down to a more manageable size during a retrograde. This is what I've experienced. And I feel things become a little bit more realistic. There's just good things that can happen and tons of growth that can happen, but not at such a boom when it's direct, way overexpanded experience. So also, we have helpers, and this is for my starseed community. Many of you out there, excuse me, let me just get a little sip. A little bit of solar flare dryness coming up. But Procyon is the fixed star that's going to be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Okay, so Jupiter's in a water sign, and it's been that way since I think June. And I have Cancer ascendant, and I can really feel it. And this, again, this beautiful retrograde is going to last 4 months. Now, interesting, when March 11th comes around and it goes direct, it's going to be conjunct Sirius, not just A, but B and C at 14 degrees. So we're talking the Sirius star system. So let's welcome the star families of Procyon and Sirius to accompany us. They're going to bring us guidance, protection, nourishment, and nurturement on this Jupiter retrograde in Cancer journey. So let's talk a little bit about Procyon and the types of energies that may come up that you'll notice. Okay, if not in yourself, but maybe others around you. It can come at you many different ways when the star families are guiding and helping you. So, excuse me, if you tend to have an overly logical and analytical mind already, be careful because Procyon tends to go a little bit more that direction. And a little bit more left brain oriented, scientific oriented. Nothing wrong with that. But if it goes out of balance, we need to bring in and remember our heart coherence. So again, this whole journey here is really ultimately about balance. And if you want to learn about that, read the Tao Te Ching because that's it. The Tao teaches ultimate balance. I taught about that for many years, and my students still to this day love the fact that I taught that to them and helped them through that time that we were going through and learning about the balance. But anyway, they also love to help humanity. So this star system is looking out for us. They're not against us in any way. In fact, I feel all star systems are for us since there are ancestors to the future. Think about that. If they were against us, we wouldn't be here. They have the technology to take us out in a nanosecond. So, no, we're their ancestors, and taking us out takes them out. So they're very intelligent and heart coherent. But anyway, so um, I feel too with Procyon, and I have some of this in my chart, which is interesting. When I look at it in my chart, I'm like, I don't know if it's there, how it's even hanging out, because I have like extremely right brain person, extremely. And if I can ever pull in some of that left brain, I'm always like, hallelujah. So I'm looking forward to Procyon being with me during this time. Um, there's a great fascination with the natural world. Now, I do have this elementals, and aligning with the energies of all the elementals, the air, the water, the fire, the earth, and spirit. That's such a beautiful energy. So these are the types of energies that are going to be hanging with us for 4 months. You may feel more pragmatic, which kind of translates as being a little more practical, even responsible. And if you tend to not be, this could be a good thing. There's going to be more innovations in creating new technologies. Well, we definitely know that. Again, when it's retrograde, it's not going to be like this. It's going to be more like this. So maybe can we manage it with this size and then actually start launching some things that could make a difference? Um, Also, I don't want to get too bogged down with this. I think I should get moving forward here a little bit, but just watch out for getting caught up in an insensitive type of nature. There can be a tendency towards that, and actually even losing touch with your humanness. Right now, no matter what star you're from, you are a human. Okay, you are in 3D in a human body. You may have star seed consciousness. We all do, uh, and you may be awake to it, but you still have a physical 3D body in which you are moving through life. And right now, more than ever, being in touch with humanness, being in touch with inner compassion is the way to move forward. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about Jupiter retrograde itself. Just been kind of giving you little hints here or there. Again, November 11th, 2025 through March 11th, 2026. And again, it is a planet that energies that brings in for us the bigger picture. But during a retrograde, the picture will be maybe more manageable. And it's going to come in with the signs of the Cancer, which is water, obviously. But also, I want you to think of the traditional rulers of Jupiter, which are Sagittarius and Pisces, who are connected into these other retrogrades as well. So I want you to see how it's this big melting pot of these retrogrades working with one another. And when you understand them all, and I would suggest journaling a little bit about each one and how they're interrelating to your sign, your personal sign, after you hear my horoscope, and see if that helps a little bit to kind of demystify where we're headed. Um, and let's see. So when a retrograde happens, it's always an inside job, no matter what planet it is. Okay, that really doesn't matter. It's our focus is going to go more inward. Okay, there's a directional change. And there are themes that have come up, and I'm very blessed with Pleiadian guides who I adore. I call them the peas. And they're the purple peas and have been with me since childhood. And they gave me the themes, which I feel are just a gift. And I'm really happy to share with you. It's helping me already, even though we're not technically in here yet, but I'm feeling it already. So, self-growth and development, internal faith, self-acceptance, and discernment of what is working and what isn't working. This is across all parts of your life, and I don't care what sign you are. These are themes that are here for us all. Um, so since Jupiter's in the watery sign of Cancer, what will this mean as far as bringing in those energies? So Cancer's energies are around family, home, mother, even grandmother, karmic roots, emotions, security, and integrity. Those are some of the main themes associated with the zodiac sign of Cancer. Okay. The last time Jupiter was in Cancer was the fall of 2013. Now, when people ask me this, many astrologers do. One of my absolute favorites, Molly McCord, always asks you to look back at that time. And I don't know, maybe it's my age, 69th year, but I never can remember. But because I had a significant thing happen that year in my life, to my husband actually, I do remember it. And so I do remember what all happened. And when you figure that out, you realize there could still be some kind of unfinished business related to it. So it's important to take time to reflect about that. In future, I might try to start journaling a little bit more on when these significant things happen. I haven't, to be honest, done it enough. Um, a rare time, maybe a verbal journal into my notepad. I've done that a few times, but I think it can be helpful to then know, okay, well, what is it that I need to finish up? And I'm blessed to know what that is, like I said, just because it was more of a big event. So, what I love about Jupiter retrograde is the amount of spiritual growth that is possible during the 4 month slowdown. So, again, thinking of the themes, I'm going to repeat these again: self growth, development, internal faith, self acceptance, and discernment of what is working and what isn't working. And this, again, is in all parts of your life. Okay. So, I'm going to bring these themes now into the individual signs. Okay. This is for suns, moons, and risings as I read each one. So we're going to begin with the beginning of the wheel. That's you, Aries. This 4 month Jupiter retrograde is going to bring your attention from external mountains to climb and bring your attention to go deep into your internal mountain ranges. Time to let go of every grudge you have ever carried. Jupiter is retrograding through your fourth house of karmic roots, mother and mother's ancestry, your home life, security, integrity, and all the emotions that go along with this journey. So this feels like a possible rebirth for you, Aries. Very happy for you, Aries. The most important theme will be around inner faith in Source, all caps. This may be the biggest mountain within to climb because Aries, your zodiac sign, is all about self-identity and independence. This creates a challenge of feeling that there could ever be something bigger than you that could ever take care of you. So self-acceptance will begin with a big letter S for surrender and to Source, all caps. Your potential for a complete life makeover is huge, all caps. There you go, Aries. I have my Mars in Aries, so I can relate. All right, Taurus. Oh gosh, Taurus. Taurus suns, moons, and risings. So Taurus, Jupiter retrograde is in your third house of communication. And your themes of focus will be on self-growth and development. This is not the time to hide your light under a bushel. It is time to bring it out because it's kind of crucial. Those are just some fun words from the Broadway play Godspell. I know I'm dating myself, but I love that play. It was awesome. I love their music. Anyway, so clarity in Sanskrit means vidya and is a key word for the next 4 months to get real clear about what it is you truly want. Throw all whims and whimsies overboard and get yourself to the helm of your spirit ship. It's time to sail into full transparency and integrity of who you truly are and to accept yourself. Yes, warts and all. Let's face it, nothing could ever be perfect enough. So what are you waiting for? Communicating your truth is the only way forward out of old painful patterns which no longer serve you. Hang in there, Taurus. Gemini, suns, moons, and risings. All right, Gemini. Jupiter in Cancer retrograde is in your second house of what you value, whether tangible or intangible. What has greatest meaning for you in your life? Is it money, your relationships, your career? Has retail therapy been draining your energies? The biggest question of all is, do you value yourself? Over the next 4 months, you have an opportunity for self-growth and development. But first, it is important to discern clearly what is working and what isn't working. So a big dose of self-truth is needed to receive true clarity. In Sanskrit, the word vidya can be translated as clarity. Avidya is everything that is non-clarity, such as doubt, deception, unconsciousness, and incomprehension. And this is represented by what is called the 5 kleshas, which translates as afflictions, which are avidya, which means ignorance, raga means attachments, asmita, egoism, dvesha, aversion, abhinvesa, fear or misapprehension. So, Gemini, it's time for some deep, deep self-reflection, looking at what is not supporting your highest good, to discern what you truly value in your life and releasing what is not serving your soul growth. There you go, Gemini. A lot on your plate there. And again, this is over 4 months. You're going to have time to work with this. And all these retrogrades will be part of it. Well, not all of them, but many of them. Some will go direct, as I had mentioned earlier, which will be helpful during that time. So Cancer, suns, moons, and risings. Okay, Cancers, Jupiter retrograde is in your first house. I have the Cancer ascendant, so I'm really listening to this one. Which brings you an opportunity for a complete makeover from the inside out. Boy, does that sound good. All 4 of the retrograde themes are key for you during these next 4 months. So where do we begin? Internal faith may be your first step on this journey, for without it, all the other themes have no foundation. Surrendering to Source is the ultimate foundation of faith. Source, or some people refer to call higher self or maybe the universe as a title. To me, it's all the same. So I'm going to use the word source. Will show you what is working for what is not your job. Excuse me, what is not. Your job is to develop and grow into discernment of the clear message you are being given. For example, if you're hitting your head up against a wall, trying to force something into place, this is a big sign from Source. This is not working. Whether this is a job, relationship, or even health, wealth issues too. On the flip side, when the universe rolls out the red carpet and you are receiving synchronistic little miracles and blazing billboards of confirmations, your job is to walk this way. which made me think of Aerosmith. Aerosmith, I'm dating myself again. Walk this way, do do do. I used to love that song. Anyway, this is where self-acceptance comes into play. Okay, Cancers. Do you hear me? I'm talking to myself. All right. Leo, suns, moons, and risings. All right, Leos, with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer lighting up your 12th house of miracles, changes, and completions, you may choose to use the next 4 months to resurrect your incomplete dreams and desires and get them ready for manifestation in March 2026. It will require a deep look within at your inner faith. Do you truly believe in yourself, or is it all just on the surface? You have an opportunity to take a shamanic journey through the dream worlds to discover your true purpose. Is there a dream you have just never been able to let go? Is it still niggling you in the back of your heart and mind? And is this dream not willing to stay quiet in the background anymore? It is time to go inside and truly discern what is keeping you from manifesting this dream into reality. What needs to be done what needs to be done to make it happen? Do you need more training? Or is it just a lack of deep down confidence? I'm not talking about ego fluff stuff here at all. So, what do you need to release? What do you need to change or even forgive in order to complete your dream? Only you, Leo, know the answer to this deep within. All right, and Virgo, suns, moons, and risings. Dear Virgo, Jupiter retrograde is in your 11th house of friends, communities, and groups. And of the four themes, self-growth and development is front and center in your life for these next 4 months. With Jupiter in retrograde, it is not about quantity of friends. It is about the quality of friends in your life. Do you have friends, groups, and communities you can count on? Are you comfortable with asking others for help? Or on the flip side, are you too dependent on others? So, time for deep self reflection on what roles you play in different groups of people and apply your discernment skills, dear Virgo, figuring out what relationships are working and which ones are not. Very often, it is not the relationship that is off. Rather, it is the roles being played by each individual which are not fitting anymore. Ask yourself, are there people, situations in my life in which I feel stagnant energy patterns? It's time to look within and see where you may need to grow and utilize these next 4 months to transform any stagnant non-acceptance patterns into joyous peace within yourself and with others. Just grab a little sip. So Libra, suns, moons, and risings. With your Jupiter retrograde in Cancer in your 10th house of ambitions, motivations, career aspirations, and reputation, you may want to discern what is working and what isn't. Right off the bat. No pussyfooting around. Get out a piece of paper, write down exactly what is working. And what does that mean necessarily? Who is supporting your needs and desires? Or what? What job is or career or what or who is it? Your spouse, friends, boss? Where is it coming from? You want to look at that and get it down on paper and look right at it. So often, Libra, you have the tendency to put everyone else before you, playing the martyr. I'm going to be a little bit rough here. Yes, playing the martyr and getting a reputation of being one. Getting all huffy about a situation and then cancel out. The key is to speak your truth about it immediately. You can't please everyone. You can only please yourself. So do you see how important it is to honor what you truly want first? Now, on another piece of paper, write down what or who you don't want and be real clear about it. What can you do to change this? Is there a move you can make which will help you advance forward in your career? Or is it a relationship with someone in authority that you are afraid of on some level? What can you do to alleviate that fear? Over these next 4 months, you have an opportunity to truly enhance the quality of your life through making decisions for the highest good by not leaving yourself out of the equation. Alrighty. Scorpio, suns, moons, and risings. Okay, Scorpio, with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, your fellow water sign is showing up in your ninth house of belief systems and spiritual learning. Ask yourself these questions. Am I feeding my spirit or am I feeding my ego? Am I choosing for the highest good or settling for just instant gratification? Take time to look within at your internal state of faith, accessing your capacity to believe in Source, a higher power of all knowing. Discernment of what is real and what is just a fantasy is key for your spiritual growth during these 4 months of Jupiter retrograde. You may discover a part of you buried deep within, which is rising to the surface to be looked at by you, just you, not others. A part of you choosing to feel the power of standing in your own truth without doubting yourself and always seeking answers from others, from the outside. This is your inner guru. Scorpio, it's time to listen to your own inner wisdom. All right. I have a Scorpio North Node. I'm listening. All right. Definitely got my grandma hat on today. I'm very emphatic talking to everybody. All right. Sagittarius, suns, moons, and risings. Okay, Sagittarius, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer has landed in your eighth house of cycles of transformation, regeneration, and commitments of all kinds. Sagittarius, ask yourself this. What have I not forgiven? What is still keeping me from fully transforming my life, especially financially, as well as being treated better by your partner? This requires a deep dive, just like a mermaid swimming down into the bottom of your heart, which is like the ocean. Let's face it, Sagittarius, you have a big heart, and there can very easily be unforgiveness lurking deep in the caves and caverns within. It takes great faith to look inside and take our attention away from the outside, always being the big challenges in our lives. These next 4 months offer you an opportunity to finally step in to the transformation you have been seeking for so long, to get the career, job, and or relationship you've always wanted, even with your current partner. Yes, amazing as that sounds, it is totally possible when we shift our perspective to embrace how talented and worthy we truly are. It's all about loving yourself first, Sagittarius. All righty. Oh boy, here we come to me again. Capricorn, sun, moons, and risings. So Capricorn, Jupiter retrograde in emotional Cancer is activating your seventh house of partnerships, diplomacy, and contracts. Are there relationships, whether personal or professional, in your life right now, always rocking your boat? Are you the one always coming to the rescue, bailing others out of emotional situations? Is there a part of you who feels tired of this and would like a change in this situation? Discernment is the key for you to change this situation. Discernment shines the light on what is truth through the ability to know through the power of spirit what is for the highest good. It's time for a deeper reevaluation of your partnership or partnerships and or contracts. And the best way to redesign the balance of power, this may mean, Capricorn, you will be learning how to allow others to be in charge. And your development of inner faith may play an important role over these next 4 months. You may have to step out of the CEO position, which may not be a bad idea to get a break. Let somebody else figure it out. All right. Aquarius. Woo! Suns, moons, and risings. Well, Aquarius, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is entering your sixth house of courage, wellness, and service skills. What has your schedule been like, Aquarius? Are you taking any time to create healthy routines which support your entire well being? With Uranus, your home planet, returning into Taurus on November 7th, 2025, you may finally be able to get yourself more grounded and present with your health and well being. The next 4 months offer you an opportunity to further your self growth and development through incorporating more healthy routines in your life. So make a list of what you would like to accomplish. How is your diet? Are you getting enough exercise? Are you staying hydrated enough? Are you getting the right amount of sleep? And most important, are you taking time of daily doses for sunshine, forest bathing, and nature immersions? Yes, these are the basics, and they create a healthy foundation on which to live your life to the fullest with vitality. Embrace the joy of living and embrace the joy of living. Speaking of a sip of water, here I am. Okay, Pisces, suns, moons, and risings. We finally come to you. And with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, your fellow water sign, there is much swimming around going on through your fifth house of creative self-expression. Are you finding the joy in your experiences, or are you judging your creative spark by allowing your emotions to overshadow the light of your creations? Isn't it time to stop doing that? Take care to not kibosh your ideas before they ever get off the ground. This 4 month period offers you the possibility to try out your ideas in smaller batches, to test out the water, so to speak, and see how your ideas are manifesting without the stress of too much commitment. The fifth house is all about risk. And with the retrograde here, you can reduce the amount of risk to help you more slowly get your idea, project, and or product off the ground with less fear of failing so hard. So find all of the joys in each of the little triumphs and the little miracles which may appear along your journey as you stay in the present moment. There we go. All 12 signs. Similar messages here and there, obviously, but different ways of approaching, different perspectives for each one, because that's how the wheel is. That's just the wheel of life. All right. Well, I have some cards to share, and missing one of them. Where did you go? Did I lose you? Okay. Where'd you go? Let me find my cards. I picked cards for fire and air, and for my whales are missing. Where'd you go? Oh, you did go on the floor. Excuse me. They went down. They're trying to go back into the ocean. Here they are. I don't know. Ever since this three-eye atlas has been around, I've just been so jolly. I'm having a fun time here. So let me talk a little bit about the first card that I got. And this is from Lissa Royal Holt's Galactic Heritage Oracle deck. I have her little book right here. You could get a little look at it. And the first card that came in is Lyra, which is to really, according to Lissa Royal Holt, the very first fixed star civilization. So the card is number 69, my birth year, not my birth year, but my current year, natural humility, and it's to do with the future. So what does humility mean? It is not self-degradation, but rather an honest understanding of one's limitations, combined with a willingness to serve others and submit to a greater will, which fosters spiritual growth. In other words, what Caitlin's guides say all the time, what is for the highest good of the situation. So that's what you want to be looking for in the back of your mind, fire and air signs, as you go through these Jupiter retrograde 4 month experiences. What is for the highest good of the situation? So humility is a key attribute of a spiritually evolved species. And it's also called highly evolved beings of the future. And the first I ever heard of that was reading Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh's book 3. And he brought up HEBs, and which really is us in the future, the way that I believe. So, in a nutshell, humility is an antidote to arrogance. And the young Lyrans in the past were very, very arrogant and narcissistic arrogance. And this is how we then started to go to splitting into Vega, which was the first half. And then it's almost like thinking of the stars splitting, but also our cells dividing. I see a correlation all the time with the stars. They're like every cell in our body are like the stars in the cosmos. Think about that. So, but there's a big change now with Lyra. It's very different, very advanced civilization, not like it was in the beginning. So how do we look at this then, fire and air signs? Look at the world holistically. WHOLISTIC, holistic way, because all beings are connected. And that's Aho Mitako Oasin, which is the Lakota way of saying all are related. Because if we still ascribe in any part of us, in our lives, out here externally or internally, to separation being real, then we are still walking the ego path and ignoring true spiritual growth and evolution. For we are all one. All right, then I got the card. I had to search for it down in the ocean floor here. And this is for earth and water signs. And this is the cetacean whales, which are really part of Sirius. And this is card number 90, Shamanic Journey. And this when she says parallel, it's like another timeline or another parallel life energy that's going on. And the whales are very much that. I feel many of us are whales in the ocean. Dolphins, whales, and boy, they are so communicating right now. And my clairaudience is off the charts, and I can hear them. I'm not kidding. I can hear them, especially at night. They communicate. Ever since I went and saw them on the beaches in San Diego, off the beach, not the beach, but on the waters, on a whale watch. And wow, what an experience. So whales to me are courageous, shamanic teachers. They may teach us to confront our fears, our shadows, our presumed limitations, which may be keeping us from fully stepping into our true self. It takes great courage to step into new ways, new choices, and embrace unlimited possibilities. During the next 4 months, there will be many changes happening, and the more willing we are able to move forward into the new, the more easy the transformational experience will become. Whales teach us all about unity consciousness. I feel both of these cards, really, both of them, are giving us the same message. It's just a different perspective and a different road to take, but it's leading to the same place, the same place. And for the earth and water, it's finding the courage to embrace a new way and let go of the old and comfortable known patterns. Fire and air find the grace of humility and realize we are each one special in our own way, creating the beautiful diversity of unified consciousness. Unified consciousness. And that takes us to the end of the video today. Please, I hope that you will like and consider subscribing if you haven't already to my channel at Bhakti Galactic Healing. I really enjoyed being with you today. I will have information in the description of how you can contact me or my granddaughter, Adriana, at our emails to book readings. So much love to all. May we move forward during this time, just being the very best that we can be, because that's all we can really do. So much love. Namaste.